I signed my first $8,000 per month online client with 0 case studies as a complete beginner. Because it turns out you don't need some huge following or some crazy past results. That's just a lie your competition feeds you so you don't get started. Look, clients only care about one thing and one thing only. Can you deliver? If they believe you can, they will pay you every single time. Yes, case studies are one way to signal that belief, but there's 3 even more powerful mechanisms you can use to land big clients online. And I'll even warn you of the 3 common beginner traps that most people get stuck on so you don't crash and burn. Here's exactly how I was able to skirt around being a beginner and jump right to landing Nathan Nazareth as my first client, despite being a dead broke college dropout and not having any case studies or portfolios. Look, before you even start reaching out to a client, you need a game plan and a clear goal. So as an agency owner or freelancer, your number one goal is simple: get clients to pay you, ideally a lot. That's why I optimize for 1 to 2 what I like to call super clients instead of a dozen small average ones. As a content operator, I manage the Instagram pages for business owners and influencers through a repeatable content system, and through landing a super client, I was able to actually build a deeper connection and make more money long term because I'm not like a chicken with my head cut off chasing average client after average client. In fact, my first super client, Nathan Nazareth, ended up flying me out to visit him in Vancouver, Canada, and then we ended up traveling the entire world together in Turkey, Australia, and a bunch of other countries together. And that's your goal, not the typical SMA agency guy that just ghosts you after 3 months of work. You want someone that will respect you, pay you what you're worth, and ideally work with you long term. And landing Nathan all came down to one thing, which was sending the right message to the right client on the right platform. Because what you have to realize is that the market has shifted away from having case studies and more toward opportunistic high yield returns, which in simple words just means good opportunities. Having case studies is not as powerful as a good offer is to a client. And that's why mechanism number 1 to land a super client without prior work is risk reversal. It's all about your offer. We're gonna work on a results only pay as you go basis, meaning we only make money once we first delivered results to our client. Now that's a good opportunity because your client takes on no risk while you get an opportunity at actually landing them. One good client will literally pay for your entire lifestyle. It's enough to live here in Los Angeles, California, and even buy a brand new Ford Raptor. In fact, one of my students just dropped out of college in Alabama and moved to Las Vegas at 19 years old because he landed one super client at $7,000 per month as a content operator. He literally lives now on his own terms, and that client even bought him a brand new $300 monitor because, once again, it's not the typical agency client that is just kind of average. Through risk reversal, we can achieve our main goal, which is to simply get our foot in the door with a no-brainer offer. I mean, just think about it. If I told you I'm gonna make you an extra $50,000, but I just want 10% as my service fee, would you go for it? Hell yeah, you would. That's only $5,000, meaning you're still profiting $45K without having to take on any more work, but more importantly, any risk either. Now that is a no-brainer risk reversal offer. We get paid in direct proportion to the value we provide because we're not pitching on our content service, we're instead selling the dream result or dream outcome of that service. You know, what clients actually care about. We don't pitch an upfront fee because that's a risk or burden our client needs to take. Instead, we say we're simply going to take 10 to 15, maybe even 20% of the revenue we generate. This also automatically places us higher than the typical video editor or agency because remember, we're selling on the dream outcome. That's how we beat beginner trap number 1, which is common commodity. We actively position ourselves as a proprietary service, not some generic video editor that you can get from India for like $4 an hour. Clients don't actually care about the views. Remember, they just want more sales to their business. And that's why positioning yourself as a content operator through a risk reversal, and more importantly, unfortunately, just taking a percentage instead of any upfront fee is automatically going to make you look like so much more of an authority. It's pure leverage. So let's take a look at a risk reversal offer in real time. Here's a bad example. I will edit 30 reels for you in a month for $1,000. And now we switch it to a good version, which is I will add an extra $10,000 to your business revenue for a 10% cut, or you don't pay. It was an easy yes for Nathan. No hassle, no money on the line, just an opportunistic high yield return. Even with zero case studies, a strong risk reversal shows you understand your client's business, his goals, and that you can actively help him scale while taking the edge off. This mechanism has your back, just like it helped Chris and another student of mine, Ilias, make $20,000 in a single month as a content operator. Okay, but what happens when your competition also uses a risk reversal? How do you stand out then? Well, that's where mechanism number 2 comes into play: trust and authority. But before I get into it, if you'd like to learn from me personally, I'm working one-on-one with select individuals to help them land their first super client within the next 60 days. I'm going to be giving you my exact blueprint along with my personal phone number so you have everything you need to actually make it happen. And if you don't land your client in the next 60 days, I will continue working with you for free until you do. I'll leave a link down below in the description of this video so you can apply. Let's see if you qualify. So, the trust and authority mechanism, building your social capital and positioning yourself like an expert, or what I like to call the social hacking method. This is a crucial step because if you don't look like a professional online, then your risk reversal won't be taken seriously. Here's an example of how it works. Imagine you're looking to buy an art piece and you go to a gallery with a bunch of other expensive works around the painting that you want. You're automatically gonna assume that it's worth money and it's actually good just because of the environment that it's in. Or in other words, you're just gonna judge the artwork even if it's painted by a 10-year-old kid by its presentation. And you're gonna assume that it's actually worth something and the perceived value will go up compared to if you found that same piece of artwork in a dusty garage. You're not gonna ask for previous testimonials or other work the painter has made, you're just going to look at it face value. The reality is that clients want to take a little risk, yes, but only with experts. That's true consumer behavior, and I can prove it. This AI monkey that literally was generated by a computer in 5 seconds sold for $3.4 million a couple years ago. It's the same thing with content clients. Like, you could be the best content operator in the world, but if you aren't presenting yourself like an authority, no one's gonna believe you and you're still gonna be broke. I see this happen all the time where average content operators land clients way above their weight class because they're spending more time in their presentation and actually looking like a professional, credible, trusted authority online. That's what actually matters, because if you think about it from the fundamental perspective, why would a client ask for case studies in the first place? Well, what they're really looking for is trust. If you have previous work, chances are you'll do better work in the future, but you can achieve that same impact through a really good profile. Your social capital is way more important than you think because people are going to judge a book by its cover. They're going to think, is this a credible person to actually work with? And whether you like it or not, your Instagram page is your online resume. It's the first thing they check even before fully reading your message because they want to see who the hell am I talking to. That's why you build your social capital through positioning yourself as an expert in a certain niche. Instagram is truly the best platform to do this because unlike YouTube or TikTok, you can do it without videos, just with really precise pictures that are easier to take and also establish more of a presence. So it's within your best interest to look trustworthy so people take your risk reversal seriously, and it isn't about having followers. My student Jack landed a huge client with only 100 followers. And that's common beginner trap number 2, false follower fallacy. I personally landed Nathan Nazareth when I only had 500 followers on Instagram because remember guys, it's not about the follower count, it's about looking trustworthy. I mean, think about it. There's a lot of politicians on social media that don't have hundreds of thousands of followers, but you still trust and vote for them because it's not about the actual follower count. So look, here's how we do this. You need a clear profile picture of your face so it's obvious who you are. Then you need a succinct bio in your chosen niche. It could be something along the lines of establishing high converting content systems for dropshipping coaches, for example. Then you need at least 9 photos on your profile so people think you can actually help them. They need to look professional, but also not too manufactured. A little bit candid, a little bit like, okay, he's actually doing the work. He's not just posing for a picture. And the biggest thing is you don't want to look like a college kid or like a beginner. You want to look like an expert in your niche. You want to achieve HPV or high perceived value. The piece of artwork is amazing and investors trust it's worth a lot of money simply because of its HPV, its presentation. Here's a before and after of one of my students, Josh. Even with less than 100 followers, it's really obvious if you were a client, who would you hire and trust to do the job? This profile that makes him look like some average nobody, or this one right here that makes him look like Josh Holman, the optimization expert. Little things like this go a long way, and the point is that you don't have to be the best to land super clients, you just need to look the best. Think about it, if a genius physicist came up to you on the street and started telling you about quantum mechanics, would you listen to him if he has his hair all scraggly and his clothes are ripped and his teeth are yellow? No, you're gonna assume he's homeless and he's just gibbering about random stuff. Even if what he's saying is 100% true, you're not going to give him the time of day. So fix your social capital, especially online, because we're trying to land clients online. And once again, Instagram is truly the best platform to do it. That's why 90% of landing clients happens before you even reach out to them and pitch. My student Jack made $10,000 online as a complete beginner content operator through this exact tactic.
I started taking my own content more seriously because that was like the biggest thing that I lacked. I didn't have any social proof to show for myself. Like there's nothing on my Instagram. My TikTok had a couple posts. And once I started posting, people started even coming to me.
Now, on top of looking like an expert online, you want to sound like an expert as well. If we look like an expert and we talk like an expert, clients will think we're actually an expert that can deliver real results to them, even if we're a complete beginner. This is done through market research, and that's why it's so important we niche down so we can learn the ins and outs of our industry in depth. Because who do you think gets paid more? A family doctor or a brain surgeon? Or who do you think gets paid more with landing clients online? A content operator or some agency guy that's just sending generic messages without any real work, right? It's pretty obvious. In business, generalists get killed because when you dominate a niche, you can better serve an audience and ultimately provide more value. When I was researching Nathan, I looked at his Instagram page, his YouTube channel, his TikTok accounts, everything that could help me get more information about him and his personal brand. You want to focus on answering these 3 main questions when researching a client. What does he sell? Who does he sell to? And how does he sell to those people? This way we can analyze Nathan's niche, his current content strategy, and his overall brand feel in comparison to his competitors. So when it's time to pitch him, we know exactly how to help him and what he needs to do to stand out from his competition, and this shows him that we actually know what the hell we're talking about because we did our research. So after I did this, I found out Nathan sells consulting services to e-commerce dropshipping brands. He sells to up-and-coming online Shopify store owners mainly through his Instagram with educational style value content. Doing that step just killed half of my competition trying to land Nathan because now I don't just look like an expert, I don't just talk like an expert, but I actually am becoming an expert because I'm doing my homework. I even went on YouTube to watch some dropshipping tutorials to see exactly how the business model works, have even more context, and also I tried it. I tried dropshipping, so I knew exactly the pain points of his target audience, and I could 1, relate to it, but 2, I could provide some valuable key insights to Nathan and help him out with his content more directly. Notice how far that takes you. Even without any case studies, with 0 portfolios as a complete beginner, simply having the right information, doing your homework, looking like a professional, and then applying a risk reversal is literally gonna skyrocket your chances to success. Okay, but what's our pitch exactly? Like, what's the cherry on top to actually get us across the line to land that super client? Well, the final piece of the puzzle is mechanism number 3, your tailored client proposal. Look, because we're pitching business owners, they want to see something tangible. Business owners are logical thinkers, so let's appeal to that trait with a pre-built content system or an exact roadmap to help them scale and get past any bottlenecks that they're currently stuck at. Everyone wants specific help to solve their problems, so let's go ahead and locate it. First, check their posting schedule. Are they consistent? If they aren't, then we will tailor our pitch to automating their content strategy. If they are, then we will tailor our pitch to creating more high converting content. We're also going to continue analyzing the market and compare and contrast their competitors to see what are they doing differently, is it working, and what can we do to make it more effective. Is there maybe a new angle we can take? Because with Nathan, a lot of dropshipping mentors were preaching about financial freedom through e-commerce to go and buy a brand new Lamborghini, but that doesn't really make you stand out. So what did we do? Well, we said, okay, not financial freedom angle, but time and location freedom. You make money online not to buy a fancy new car, but instead travel and spend more time with your girlfriend or with your loved ones. That way we're appealing to the same audience, but in a new angle, something fresh that makes us stand out. And that made a huge difference because it's new, it's unique, and we're actually showing him that we're providing real value right off the bat. We're gonna write down all this information in our outreach message to prove that we're paying attention specifically and individually to Nathan to show that we aren't just a generic content operator, that we're gonna come in and do a good job for him because we know what the hell we're talking about. Remember, we wanna look, sound, and actually be an expert. I mean, just think about it. Your mom's cooking is always more special than a fancy restaurant, right? Well, how do you think Nathan's gonna feel when we spend all this time before even landing him, cooking him a special meal? That's why it's so important to actually do your research and not follow bullshit advice you see online, which, by the way, is common beginner trap number 3, sending Loom videos. A simple DM is way more impactful, but gurus will mislead you online and tell you, no, record yourself filming a video on a software called Loom and send it to the client because in a video you can explain all this. Yeah, well, here's the problem. You just look like every other beginner sending Loom videos. Like, you're just gonna get grouped into the amateur bucket the minute you see the Loom link, the client just fucking blocks you. You're being fed this wrong information because it sounds practical, it's easy for someone to tell you it, but in reality, it doesn't work. Everyone does it, you don't stand out, and once again, when that artwork is in a dusty garage, you're just gonna assume it's not worth anything, just like when every beginner does Loom, if you start doing it too, guess what? They're gonna think you're a Loom beginner video content operator as well. Don't kill your chances right off the bat. Stick to the simple DM outreach structure that I'm gonna lay out right now. Remember, you're working with real business owners out here. If you cut corners and use some bullshit tactics, they're already gonna pick up on it, they're gonna know, and ultimately you'll never land them. Don't be lazy, don't cut corners, provide real actionable advice, and now, even with no case studies, you have a real shot. Okay, so now that we know everything, it's time to lead with action because it speaks louder than words. Go ahead and write a free video script and send it to them. Go and edit a video from maybe their YouTube channel for Instagram and send it to them. Provide real value up front, maybe even send them a content pipeline like this one on Notion. It's what I use to land Nathan. You can literally just copy mine if you want and basically show them you aren't all talk. Basically go above and beyond to show that you're actually gonna stick to your word, you're gonna over deliver, and this right here is the final nail in the coffin that when you combine with everything else, it's a no-brainer. We need to work with Emil. He's actually gonna make us money and he's actually gonna be a good content operator. Here's the pitch. We're gonna follow the 3 C's: custom, concise, and convincing. Here's the exact word for word 2-message sequence that we will follow. The first message is, hey X, love the insert custom message in the insert target audience plus niche. However, your content isn't anchoring back to your actual coaching offer. Most of your clips are going viral for motivation, but they aren't converting eyeballs into qualified leads. I'm a content operator. I'd love to automate your content system, including all the editing, scripting, and positioning so you can sell without losing authenticity, just like insert competitor. And the second message is, here's a free video script to build you more personal brand equity. If you're looking to scale and automate, let me know. And there you go. Notice how we've identified a super niche problem that's custom to them and actually spoke their language to show we're a trusted authority. That's the name of the game, because if you have the right information, you don't need any case studies. People can just tell this guy is smart, he's actually willing to put in the work, and he's gonna help me make a fuck ton of money. It's also why landing super clients as a content operator is way easier and faster, because unlike the typical agency or video editor, WAP clipper, or whatever bullshit, we actually have leverage. On top of that, content is the most in-demand asset. Every business, no matter what they do, need content, or else they have no front-end marketing. They're not going to make any sales. So you're literally in the best spot as a content operator with risk reversal, trust and authority, and also a custom content tailored message system. You're good to go. And look, if your super client doesn't respond off the bat, don't worry. You can follow up with specific comments that are related to his recent Instagram posts. Just make sure not to be spammy or look desperate, because that's just gonna make you look like you need him, which obviously we do, but we want him to think that he also needs us. It will absolutely demolish your authority, so remember, don't be desperate, and when you follow up, say specific things that are relevant. That way it's not just, hey bro, did you see my message? On top of that, I would go see who your client is following, go follow some of his friends, see if he's in any other pictures, comment on some of his videos, like his posts, just follow him for a week, 2 weeks, really learn about the client and kind of be in his ecosystem, because when you're around, remember the painting in the same environment, they're automatically gonna have some more HPV, high perceived value for you. And boom, that's exactly my setup on how I landed my first super client, Nathan Nazareth, at $8,000 per month. And if you want to fast forward to now, when I'm 22 years old, living here in Los Angeles, California, I'm making $30,000 per month as a content operator, and it was all because of what we just talked about. You now know the 3 mechanisms to land clients with 0 case studies. Number 1, the common commodity trap. Number 2, false follower fallacy. And number 3, sending Guru Loom videos. But wait, that's not all. Because I love you guys and I want the younger version of me to have this video available to him, I'm gonna go a step further and even talk to you about objection handling. So this is when the client sees your message, he's interested, but ultimately he says no. Handling that objection can be the difference between making that money and ultimately still being broke. So I'm going to show you how I did this recently with a super client I onboarded, Andy Starring, and basically I sent him a couple videos, remember, as the free value. He loved them, and then I told him exactly what I want to do, and ultimately he said he would love to, but right now he's more focused on scaling his YouTube channel before he goes and makes an investment into his Instagram. So what did I do? Well, I tailored my pitch specifically to his goals. Remember, that's number 3. And I basically said that makes a lot of sense, but right now your Instagram account, it's dying. Wouldn't it make more sense to use that momentum and feed it to the YouTube? So do you see how I'm not just pitching on Instagram? I'm taking the Instagram and attaching it to his goal of YouTube, and I'm using it as maybe more of a client acquisition system for his main goal. I even mentioned one of his competitors, who turns out to be Nathan Nazareth, and I said, to me it's a no-brainer to at least get it going, no reason to ignore short form and keep letting your account decay. And basically I successfully handled his objection. He hit me back saying, gotcha, here's what we're thinking. We're open to testing this out, but I need it structured in a way where there's 0 lift on my end, because I want to fully preserve time and focus on the info product business and my YouTube channel. You run short form, IG in the Instagram background, handle everything start to finish. If you get 1 to 2 mentorship sale closes from your first output in the month, we will lock in the $8,000 to $10,000 per month retainer. Meaning I get him 2 new customers from the content I create on Instagram, and he's gonna pay me 8 to 10K per month. Love it, I'm in, let's do it. And there you go, now you officially know how to land super clients without any case studies. But here's the next step, actually delivering for those clients, right? We learn how to land them in this video, but now it's time to actually get them real world results and scale exponentially so we can make more and more money per month. So guess what? I made a free 2-hour-long client service delivery course that you can watch right now. I'll put it right there, or a link down below in the description of this video. And essentially, I'm gonna go and hand over the exact AI tools, systems, and structures that I currently use for Nathan to get him the best results and make more money for myself as his content operator. It has absolutely everything you're gonna need. You now have this video to land the clients, and then the free 2-hour-long course to deliver on the clients. It's completely free. It's all there for you. I hope it helps. So go ahead and check that out. And remember, if you want to work with me one-on-one to land your first super client in the next 60 days, go ahead and check out that link in the description below. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.